Hey, what's up, everybody? Pat here, great recovering alcoholic and addict, just like every day. Guys, please don't forget to subscribe, leave the video a like, drop me a comment, and by all means, share it with anybody you think might get something out of it. Other than that, how is everybody today, guys? Happy Sunday. I love Sundays. Sunday's a good day. I had a really good day. Excuse me, trip over my words here. Typical morning. Went to Sunday's my favorite day at the gym. I do an extended workout. I slept on my back a little wrong, so I didn't anticipate getting a really good workout in. I was really stiff this morning. I was almost debating not going. And as I woke up, I'm like, no, I'm not going to skip the gym. I'm like, I know I'll feel better after I go to the gym. And I do feel a little pulled muscle in my back, but I still got through my entire workout, got up to 415 pounds in the bench press, and felt great. Again, woke up again this morning just... I think the realization that my driver's license is fully reinstated, I'm perfectly legal after so long of it just not believing it could happen, is going to take some time to really fully set in. Maybe when the card gets in the mail, but either way, every time I get in my truck, I can't wipe the smile off my face, guys. It's the progress of just believing things are possible and then going after them diligently day in and day out. There was a lot of... As I reflect on this, I'm thinking back to the times where there was setbacks and things just seemed so overwhelming. Realizing the expense of it all. But again, when I started this project, I knew it was going to cost just about all I had saved at that point. But the beauty of it is, God has been leading me places I never dreamed possible. And by the time I got through the process, it didn't... amazing, just amazing what's happened in the 14, 16, we'll call it 15, 16 months since I've been going after it. I've made, 5 times that. So, boom, and now it didn't even dent the account. In the 3 weeks since I paid it out, I've made it almost back. It's amazing. Just, again, working diligently, not letting the little things get in my way. I remember the day that I was waiting for a call from the registry thinking everything was done. The first time, there was a few setbacks throughout this process, and I was just pulling up to my AA meeting, and I get a phone call with the registry, and I'm like all excited, like just waiting here and say, yeah, you're good. And he's like, no, you're not good. You got to go to Rhode Island and get this paperwork, and go to Dudley and get this paperwork, and depending on what that paperwork says, you may not even be eligible. And my heart sank. I'm like, I've been working on this for 9 months. I've done all these classes. I've done everything they told me I needed to do. How could this be possible? And normally that would be all it takes to just divert me and destroy me. But again, I've learned to walk these lessons. And I stopped and I thought about it. And I'm like, no, God didn't put this in front of me just for my hand to be slapped. I know that I've done my research. I know I'm eligible. And I started walking to my meeting, and as I was pondering it again, rather than just demonizing anybody and thinking, oh, woe is me, I was just, and don't get me wrong, guys, I was emotionally leveled, but I was mentally just working through, and I'm like, no, I know this, I've been over this. And then I made sense of it. I'm like, well, okay, if you look at the underlying charges that were falsified and then changed, yeah, if that was true, I wouldn't probably be eligible. So that's what he's seeing. That's what the concern is. I got to my meeting. I shared it with my fellows. My sponsor was there, calmed me down, made sure I was in a good place. I was ready to run across state and try and get this paperwork and like 3 o'clock on a Friday and drive. It would have been stupid, and I didn't. I came home, I prayed, I meditated, and I just picked my feet back up, and I just kept diligently working on it with the goal in mind of trying to imagine what it would feel like having my license back. And I honestly was having trouble even imagining it. Fast forward to today, again, great workout at the gym. I go to my Sunday morning meeting, and to my surprise, my sponsors, so my grand sponsors, we like to say, was celebrating 14 years today. My sponsor's chairing the meeting, so I'm sitting back and sitting in that meeting and looking at my sponsor, whom has become a very, very good friend of mine, and somebody I respect dearly, and somebody that made want recovery back before I even was considering recovery 10 years ago. And for having him back in my life as my sponsor, he's introduced me to this meeting. I've gotten to know everybody at this meeting now. I'm being welcomed in, and people are getting to know me. And then, my sponsor's sponsor is sharing 14 years recovery. and he shared, and I immediately, like, it was a profound feeling of just being like, I am right where I need to be. Like, I've never felt so content, so sure that things that I'm doing are working in my life, and I'm on the right path for once. It was amazing, absolutely beautiful. You can hear me getting choked up a little again, and it'll pass in a second. But it is, guys. It's from living in complete and utter despair for as long as I did. I have trouble processing the amount of love and joy and hope and not even hope at this point. It's the knowledge that things are going to be good. Not even all right. It's like, not even like I used to wonder what it was like to feel like you'd be, knowing you could get through something. Like, no, I know things are going to be great. And again, doesn't mean it's going to be all rainbows and fairy tales. There are going to be pitfalls. There are going to be challenges. Life is always going to be life. People are going to be peoply, and life's always going to get lifey. In other words, there's going to be challenges. There's going to be setbacks. I'm not always going to get what I think I deserve or what I want, and things aren't going to go in my favor all the time. But I have goals, and I'm going after my goals again. And that's not something I could say for a long, long time, because my own antics would get in the way, and I would get myself in trouble on the wrong side of the law, and I would have this obligation I couldn't reach, and I never gave myself for the last 30 years a fair shot at just, competing with people on an equal plane. And because of that, I see now that caused me to work my ass off just to be able to maintain, like, any kind of, not that I ever did, but I was working really hard at it. Like, other than the 4 years that I just, threw in the towel and was homeless, the rest of my life has been busting my ass and then doing really stupid shit, and then having to pay for it and dig my way out of a hole, only to do more stupid shit to end up back in a hole. But the thing of it is, guys, that's a lot of working my ass off, getting myself out of the hole, which taught me work ethic. It taught me strength. And there's a lot of good things that come with that, or good attributes that come with the attempts that I was making. My antics aside, I learned a lot of good things, a lot of good attributes, and now I get to take all those attributes and face any challenges that are put in front of me. Never mind my strengths, my skills, my positive mindset. Now I've got God that sees that I'm serious about making a difference in the world and in my life and doing good things, and I'm being faithful. I'm being, I'm living in a state of gratitude. My sponsor and I were talking about it today, and we had, oh my God, doing the step work after the meeting today was just fantastic. It was like the deepest, realest conversation I think I've had with a human being in very possibly in my life. And it was very positive. It was very real. And we talked about honest shit that we faced and got to know each other a little better. But it was the realization that, like, what we're doing works. I have goals that I can attain. I talked about it a couple weeks ago when I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting my license. I'm about to buy a house. I got to start thinking of some new goals. Those are goals that I used to spit out there to make it look like I was more moving towards something and not just being the stagnant loser that I was. I wasn't working to them. I didn't have a chance of getting there. I didn't believe for a second I'd ever see it. I was just marking time, as they say. It's not where I'm at today, guys. And here's the thing. I was sharing with my sponsor. 5 years ago, if you said something about affirmations, my mind would go to that Saturday Night Live skit where this wicked loser sitting in front of a mirror, I'm beautiful, I'm good, and I just thought it was the silliest, stupidest thing ever. I do affirmations daily. I do subliminal affirmations to go to sleep every night. I am very intentional about the way I speak. The words I speak to myself with. I don't tell myself I can't do something. Now, I'm not saying I can, make magic and things like that. I also accept the actual parameters of my life. And in order to accept those, I have to be incredibly rigidly honest with myself. Because I've got a brain that's got a monster inside of it that likes to fool me, that likes to lie to me. I like to lie to myself, and I like to work under false conditions, and I did for a long time. I now see that, and I know how to rectify that, doing the steps, being honest, work in recovery, sharing with others, getting to know myself, being intentional. But I also know how to remain focused. Like, again, there was so many times during this process that, things were the next class I couldn't get into for 3 months, and I had to just patiently wait, and just, so what I did was not, not only did I wait patiently, but I just went to work every day and tried to do the best I could what I have, keep going to the gym, keep going to my doctors. I've graduated my sublocade, I've graduated my online classes at Harvard. I've, opened a second business. I've started, stacking money. While I was waiting for the next, the next step I could do, I show up every day and I remain focused on those goals. When I get down, when something happens, I don't freak out. I realize, okay, well, this is just a challenge. There's a reason I have to do this. It's either something from my past I got to overcome to prove that I can overcome it, or it is a challenge that life is throwing at me that I know God's here with me, so I'm going to get through it, and I'm going to learn something out of it, and if it costs me anything, that cost to me is going to help somebody else, and I'm going to feel good about that too. That is a beautiful, I don't even have words to describe how good that feels in my life. And I went into it believing it because that's what I was downloading. My intuition was telling me that was the message I was getting from my higher power. And if this is too esoteric, I'm sorry, but it's my reality. And I have to have the courage of my convictions to speak my honest truth. Because, guys, if I'm trying to share what's worked for me, I've got to share what's worked for me. And this is my God's honest truth. So I've removed self-doubt. And again, in order to remove self-doubt, I've removed my expectations on things. I've learned to go into things doing the right thing to the absolute best of my ability, not giving myself grace when I slip, but not giving myself excuses to not do what I know is right and to the best of my ability. When I make a mistake, I rectify it as soon as possible. If I say something out of line, I apologize. If I do something wrong, I make an amends. And to the best of my ability, not perfectly, but I do diligence. I keep my diligence. I work my recovery every single day. I honor my commitments. These are the things that God wants to see of me because they were the things I couldn't do in addiction. And I'm trying to change my life so the things I couldn't do or I wouldn't do, because I can't see now, if I can do them now, I could have done them then. So I didn't do, I wouldn't do, drugs wouldn't allow me to do. I'm allowed to do today. I force myself to do. And then I've come to love doing so because I love the person I've found in doing these things. I heard people say, find somebody that has something you want in recovery and emulate that. Well, my friend Doug is a self-made multimillionaire. And I looked at his characteristics. He's very, goes after it. Doesn't put things off till tomorrow that he could do today. Goes head first at things. And then he helps a lot of people around. And I'm like, you know what? He's the reason I'm even here. I love him for that. Let me emulate that. So I've tried to do that to the best of my ability. All the while, going into things, doing the best I could without expecting what I thought would be the best result for it. I sat back and just did things in what I call leaps of blind faith. Not knowing where it was going to lead me, but knowing this is the direction I'm supposed to take. I don't have to have all the answers, the end destinations, but damn, 19 months later, I look at the reality of it, and I'm like, well, I did the biggest thing I could never do was get myself my driver's license reinstated. I have full freedom. I can go do anything I want. Second, and hugely importantly, that dream that I can't even call it a dream, but that bullshit that I used to spout about, someday I'm in with these realtors and these property owners. Someday I'll own property and I'll have a retirement. I didn't expect for a second that to actually happen, but I said it because it made me sound big and important at the time, right? No, everybody could see I was a junkie. It wasn't going to happen. Today it's happening. I'm there. I've saved a deposit. I've fixed my credit. I'm working with a banker, a mortgage guy. I got a notification last week that my business account has reached what is it? Platinum honors tier. What the hell is that? And it's the highest tier for rewards. I don't, whatever. I get extra cash back. I get better interest rates, and literally offered me a better interest rate on my commercial mortgage. I didn't even know I was going after that, but I made myself eligible for it by focusing on my end goal as well. If I want to own property, the first thing I need, when you're doing commercial property, guys, here's the thing. You don't get a PMI on a commercial property, so basically you need to have 20% minimum to put down to get a mortgage on a commercial property. I'm assuming anything I'm gonna buy for 3 families, $1 million anyway. So that means I got to save $200,000 to be eligible. And then I have a partner, so I got to save a minimum of half of that. We're well beyond that. I can do that today. So now we're looking at houses. We've already gone after a couple and we haven't gotten them. But boom, guys, because I didn't trip over the little stones that were in my way, but and you know, I watch where I put my feet, but I remain focused on the mountaintop. I don't think I did reading it again. I gotta stop doing this. Anyway, I gotta do the reading. Because I am, guys, I'm remaining focused, and I've reached the places I never thought I could before. And this is how you get there. You don't get sidetracked by the little challenges life's gonna throw at you. Even though we're 15 minutes in, I'm not gonna re-record this video, so I'm gonna go ahead and do the reading now. I don't know why, guys. I am so thrilled and passionate about my life. I used to need a reading to have a topic to talk about. Like I'm getting to a point in recovery where I don't need a reading. Like I like to share the reading, but I've got so much more to share because I've been given so much more in recovery today. And I just want to convey that and let everybody know, guys, if I can do this, you can do this. Like, I've got my strengths, of course I do, but I put a lot of obstacles in front of me that most people would consider a death sentence for success. And had I considered them, they would have been. But I didn't. I turned it over to God, and I listened to what God told me. And God told me, just do what I tell you to do, and things can... This is the download I got, honestly. And it may sound crazy, but this is what I've been... This is the understanding I've been going after for the last 19 months. I received a download from God that you have no idea where I'm taking you, but it's going to be beautiful. It's bigger than you could possibly understand, and that's why I can't tell you. So do your work, and you'll see. Like, sounds good to me. Like, I know I can't do that. Yes, sir, you got it. And that's all I've been doing. Getting up and doing. I get up every day with even my work, guys. I don't always have a plan for the day. I wake up and I handle whatever calls come in for the day, trusting full well the calls are going to come in, and I'm making more money than I ever dreamed. My insecurities, my old life I would be having anxiety, panic attacks, not knowing I had a paycheck at the end of the week. I get up every day in blind faith that God's going to provide for me. Because I do, God provides. Like, these are the things you got to do. So you got to remain focused, guys. The meditation for the day is titled Focus. Keep in mind the goals you are striving for, the good life you are trying to attain. Do not let little things divert you from your path. Do not be distracted or overcome by the small trials or vexations of each day. Strive to see the purpose and plan to which all is leading to. If when climbing a mountain you keep your eye on each stone or difficult place, how weary is your climb. But if you remember each step is leading to the summit of achievement from which a glorious landscape will open up before you, then your climb will be much more endurable and you will achieve your goal. That's what I'm talking about. The prayer for the day is, I pray that I may live life without a goal. I pray that I may live a life with a goal. Living a life without a goal is futile. I pray that I may find the good life a good life worth striving for. I screwed that up in the end, guys. You can do this, guys. If I can do this, you can do this. You just gotta try. And the thing of it is, guys, the entire world, at certain points, I wouldn't say entire world, but a lot of things are put in place to keep us distracted. Television, scrolling, doom scrolling, a million little shiny trinkets to spend all your money on. Unfortunately, and it's not that's why you've got to connect with your higher power. Your higher power will bring all this to your attention. I used to, if I wasn't spending every penny on drugs, I would spend every penny on Temu and stupid little shit that I thought I just couldn't do without. And I've got a couch full of tools over here that I bought 3-4 years ago that have never left the couch. Clearly, I didn't need them. I stopped doing those things and I started finding joy in saving money, and now I can buy $1 million property. Like, anybody can do this, but you got to remain focused on your goals. If we let every little thing distract us, and I've had to cut a lot of things out because I realized how easily I was distracted. And guys, I got ADHD, this, that. I was diagnosed with all that. When I turned to God, all of it went away. When I decided I was going to remain focused on recovery, I didn't know how to live recovery. I didn't know how to go back and watch my earliest videos. I didn't know what the hell I was talking about. I had no idea where this was going to go. 19 months later, I still don't know the end result, but I got a much better idea, and I've got way more confidence, and I've got way more experience, and I've got way more opportunities. I've got a lot more health, a lot more strength. I look 25 years younger. Like, every single thing has expanded and gotten so much more beautiful in my life because I remain focused every day. I don't let anything divert me. That's one thing I am, is tenacious. I'm dialed in. I'm focused. And at the same time, I pay attention to that around me. I find a balance. And I pay attention to what around me, what doors are closing, what doors are opening, and what windows I can stick my hand to and help somebody else through. And it's made all the difference in my life. Guys, it's gotten a little long, and I was a little distracted, so forgive me. We'll try again tomorrow. I'll try and get the reading under the first 15 minutes. Either way, that is the video for today. Thank you so much for being here with me. Always remember, God loves you. I love you. We'll see you in the next one.